What's going on, Elevation Nation? We're back with another podcast. That means that we're back with another elevator joining the nation. We got a special elevator today joining us, Jesse Rosen, the CEO and founder of Rose Gold Presents. Jesse, what's up, man? How's it going? Welcome to Elevation Nation.
How we doing, guys? Appreciate you guys having me.
Again, Jesse, this is the coolest thing about having a podcast. We had a ton of mutual friends. We have a ton of mutual friends. We've known about you for years, but instead of us being like, hey, we're going to set up a networking call with Jesse because we want to learn about him, we get to have you on our podcast, and hopefully that feels more special.
Hell yeah. Excited to get to learn more about you guys' mission. Love what you guys have been doing. I'm excited to share my story.
We're looking forward to it, man. So before we kick things off, this is Elevation Nation. Parker and I obviously know a hell of a lot about you, but for everyone else out there, we want to give them a quick summary. What is your elevator pitch for who you are, Jesse, and what you created?
Oof. Might be a long answer, but basically, Rose Gold Presents is a event production and promotion company. We started roughly around like 4 years ago, and we've leveraged the Rose Gold marketing machine, which through Rose Gold, we throw 5 to 7 parties a week throughout the summer. On holidays such as Halloween, we'll have 15 parties at one time. New Year's, we had around 20 events across 3 different cities. And yeah, we've leveraged those, opportunities, those marketing channels to, be able to open up venues. So I now I own 2 bars. We're about to open up a third. We do live experiences. I built New York City's only pumpkin patch last year, which was a crazy experience. We can get into that later. And yeah, that's kind of the, super high level explanation of everything. Happy to dive deeper into each facet of it for sure.
First of all, we are definitely diving deeper into it. We have 40 minutes on this thing. And second of all, you saying you own 2 bars or 3 bars, right? And then you're throwing 5 to 6 events a week, as well as throwing New York City's only pumpkin patch ever. Like, let's go back a little bit. Yeah, let's go. Let's go back a little bit. In Ohio, at Ohio State, where you went to school, right? Like, imagine you told yourself as an Ohio State student that you were doing that. Like, would you believe
Can you
that's
please
true?
address the school properly first, Parker? It's the Ohio State.
Yeah, come on.
Thank
Ohio
you very
State.
much.
We even got the trademarked.
That's true. Damn. I guess if you have a trademark, then it's like legit. It's a real thing.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I would never have thought, I'd be in the situation I am right now. And I sometimes need to remind myself that because I'm so head down, obviously juggling a lot of different things, and need to realize, where I am and where we came from. And, there's things that happen in your day that might throw you off course, but just got to keep a level head, which I've been trying to, do a lot better of doing that. And yeah, it's crazy just to think back where I was in college versus where I am now, and the people around me in the support system. My fiance Lauren has really helped me get to, this place. She's working with me full time. So yeah, it's been a crazy journey so far. So lucky to be where we are.
Not even a stutter from girlfriend to fiance, by the way. So well done on that one. That was smooth. Parker's transition too. He now doesn't even say fiance; it's wife automatically. So I'm proud of you both.
Go.
Well done.
Congrats.
Well
brother.
done. It's impressive.
Less than 1 month away. We are very much transitioning into full-on, not fiance anymore. This is wife and wife forever.
Yeah, wife's a lot easier to say. It took me a second to say fiance. Yeah. It's like I've definitely
Weird
slipped up
phrase.
a few times. Yeah.
You did well when it mattered, which is on a podcast heard by thousands. So good job. I think
there we go.
Jesse, in the point of us moving forward, right? New life events, new experiences. You've taken Rose Gold and your own personal brand extremely far. But in my opinion, I know we don't know you that well, there's been some core principles that throughout this entire journey you've stayed true to. And when Parker and I first heard that we needed to talk to you and then started asking some of our friends about you, every single person said he gets it, Jesse understands, and he's a good person in an industry where there's a lot of maybe a little shadier or tougher
for sure.
characters. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And I think it's something Parker and I pride ourselves on, which is the money will come, the opportunities will come, but just be good guys, look out for other people, and try to do the right thing. And from what I understand about your business, you've done that throughout, and I think it's paid dividends for you. Can you talk to me a little bit about that concept of just trying to be a good guy in the nightlife and entertainment industry in New York and many other cities? I can imagine that's tough a little bit. How have you stayed true to yourself?
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is this is really like a marathon. It's not a sprint. And people who try and cash grab short term, like they're just thinking super short term. So like just by, treating people the right way, by being overly generous, it's going to come back in other ways. People are going to be like, when an opportunity arises, you guys asked before, like how I'm handling all this, all these things after a certain amount of time, they start to, compound on each other, and they start to become inbound just because of reputation, like what we're talking about. Right. So like when you're known as someone who just like simply gets shit done, and then at the end of getting shit done, you're very, very fair, everyone you've worked with in the past is going to, something's going to cross their plate, and they're going to be like, wow, this is a great opportunity, and they're going to bring it to you. And then that just like leads to bigger and better things. Whereas if you do one event with someone, and even if you did like 95% of the work, and you're like, I deserve more, like, all right, like that person might not come back and work with you, or that person might have an opportunity that they let just pass them because, they might not be able to execute on themselves, but they also don't want to give it away. So it's just like understanding those core principles. And I think like that has given, us a big leg up in general. And it's such a simple thing. And I think the same holds true across like all businesses. Like people do bad things for money. And they'll screw over friends, family for it even sometimes. And as long as like, no matter the amount or, frequency that it may come in, it's going to come back in other ways that you just don't see yet. So it's really important to always like remember that. And yeah.
You talk about like core principles, right? That you leave your life by, and the people you work with, you're looking for those principles as well, and how you align with them.
Yeah.
How did you come up with those core principles?
It's not like a thing where like, you write in a book, like here are your 4 or 5 rules that everyone must oblige by to like be a good person. Whereas it's more simply put, like just being a good person, if that makes sense. Right. So like it's no principle in particular. It's just like, you can tell right away someone's intentions. And if their intentions are, in the right places. In nightlife, a lot of people are in it for the wrong reason. Like there's alcohol, there's clout, there's girls. And if you want to make a career off that, and, you want to make money doing that, it attracts a lot of people that are seeking that, to live that lifestyle indefinitely, and figured out they found a way to get paid to do that, So when you really treat it as like a true business and something you want to grow year over year, that's kind of what you just need to look out for.
And I also think, Jesse, I'm going to give you a little credit here. You were raised the right way, in my opinion, right? Like you're a good guy. And I think it's crazy, right?
That.
Parker and I, we do this. We talk to many, many entrepreneurs. Lucky for us, I would say almost exclusively 99.9% of everybody we've had and welcomed into Elevation Nation. The reason we do a whole podcast, and we had a call with you before, and we vet you and we make sure you're good, is like, we're not putting our reputations on the line. That like when we introduce Jesse to cool people, like he's a good guy and he's not going to do anything shady. He's going to take care of them because that's our reputation. And I think you've taken a very similar approach. Ours is podcasting and the networking game and business strategy. Yours is nightlife. If you treat people with respect, you try to do the right thing, your reputation is going to precede you. And that to me is the most important part. And so it's interesting, right? Like we talk about relationships and building trust and community. One of the things that Parker and I have noticed that we think has built our relationships to be stronger than, oh yeah, I met Sam and Parker and I was on their podcast, is we get a little bit vulnerable with some of the struggles we've gone through. And so I'll tell you a little bit of our story before getting into too many details.
Yeah.
But Parker and I, we lived in New York and in DC respectively, post-grad from Maryland, got huge jobs in Big Four consulting, and we were both depressed. Like depressed, the worst that I've ever been in my life. Went into a really dark place, got out of a relationship, hated my job, hated New York. It's growing on me now a little bit more, but hated it from the jump. And you get in this tough spot, right, where I think I didn't know who to look to because, you know, my parents had jobs for many years, and they were like, yeah, you're not going to love your first job. Like, that's normal. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I worked my ass off. I was a tour guide. I had good GPAs. I got great internships, and I got this dream job that everyone says is prestigious, but I'm depressed and miserable. Like, is that really what I need for the rest of my life? And so that's what we started Elevation Nation on, was we just wanted to get ourselves out of this funk. And so I'm curious for you, right, in the life of an entrepreneur, a relatively recent college graduate, I imagine you went through some struggles as well with figuring out how to be an adult.
Yeah, for sure. Struggles, to put it lightly. So basically, without getting like too much into it, you know, growing up, like my family was always like well off, and then 2008 came around, really hit my family hard. You know, we had to downsize significantly in the house, you know, I grew up in, but we also couldn't sell the house during 2008. So we're stuck with something we couldn't afford for like, you know, 4 or 5 years. And then basically fast forward to college, you know, that wedge in my family basically, you know, led to my parents getting divorced as a freshman in college. And then, you know, just being, I have 2 older sisters. So just being in the middle, they're already like, you know, graduated, had full-time jobs at that point. So I was like the last link. So just being in the middle, you know, of that battle, just was like definitely an eye opener for sure. To the point where like I had to move in with my aunt and uncle, and I felt really like helpless, you know, living with my aunt and uncle post-grad, having a job I hated out of college, feeling like I had no control over anything. So it's just, you know, I drive myself a little crazy with this stuff sometimes, and like just don't stop. But it's because it really all comes from a place of like not wanting to go back to a situation where I had no control of. But like, you know, I look back and it's like, if those things didn't happen and like '08 didn't happen and everything was happy and dandy, like I would have, you know, I wouldn't have developed this ambition, this, you know, fear of failing. And I don't think anything would be like what it is now. So it's like definitely those moments that shape you, and help you become like the person you are.
Well, Jesse, I commend you and I appreciate you getting vulnerable and open up, because I had a similar story. My parents.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Back in 2008, we lost our house and everything.
It's
and we
so
had
crazy. It's like how many people did that happen to?
How many people lost their damn house, really? Right? It impacted so many people. But on top of that, my parents also got divorced during that time. And to your point about, you know, I was young. I was 13. I don't know how old you were in 2008, but like, that's a hard time. And like, you look back at that and that whole experience. And first of all, when something like that happens, it's not it happened, now I'm like waking up the next day and then it's like, go on. No, this is something that you deal with for years and years and years. And you learn from those experiences, right? It's the greatest teacher in a sense. And I look back now and I'm like, wow, the adversity that I faced at a young age has helped curate me into who I am today, and has taught me so much, and has given me that drive in a sense to like,
100%.
You know, what we talk about at Elevation Nation is all about is I have gone through shitty circumstances. I've been very open about it, but I have the mental fortitude to get over and understand that I can keep going and keep elevating because I want to. And I maybe inherently I need to. I don't know.
100%. It's like diamonds are formed under pressure, you know? And without that pressure,
I love that
I
saying.
think it's almost, you know, it's almost on the flip side, it's almost like scary to not have, you know, something motivating you. Cause that almost like, it's like, then what, right? Like you can't really do much of anything.
Have you heard Rogan's clip on that? So Joe Rogan says
No.
something interesting on that point, Jesse, where he's like, you know, I had divorced parents. I moved around a shit ton. Like, I got into trouble as a high schooler because I didn't have a father figure, right? Like all these struggles that he went through.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about, and now I got these spoiled ass kids that I'm rich, they're rich, and he's like, how do I recreate those struggles? And he's like, I had to accept that I can't, but I can try. And so he's like, I'm not giving them a cent unless they have their own business. And I think Shaq's done very similar things with his kids where he's like, you need to be entrepreneurs, you need a degree, whatever it may be. And you can never obviously replicate that feeling of, you know, I felt it too with you guys when my mom got sick and my dad got sick. It's like you have these big moments in your life that I think light this fuel inside of your belly to make you who you are. And I think it's fun, right? Like, blessing and a curse to all of us. I know we definitely didn't want to go through the shit that we went through, but in some way, I think it all brought us together here today to become new friends and to build the businesses
100%.
that we're building. And I appreciate those struggles. So, sorry, Joe Rogan, we went through it, so we're the next generation, I guess.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their stuff. Like, you don't get through life unscathed. First of all, you just don't.
Yeah.
And you know why I know that? Because everyone dies. So if you're still alive, people you love are going to die. Like, that's a fact. So you're going to go through shit in your life anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's as real as it gets. But Sam knows.
No, that's facts. Yeah, we're all ended up in the same place.
We're all ending up in the same exact place, right?
Yeah.
So with that, let's spin the conversation more back to what you're building, man. I mean, like you said, you started in college, you had no idea that you could get to this point, and now you're talking about how grateful you are to be in this position. Okay, so you're in this position, man. What is like your mindset as you look towards the future, given everything that's happened in the past?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting and it's tough because it's like, the whole mindset is like sustainability, right? So it's like, what can we build now, take advantage of, you know, the momentum and make it last, right? Like, especially with nightlife. And maybe this is just something I've been telling myself and like, it's not necessarily true, but like when I'm going to be 50 or 60 years old, like, am I going to be able to be doing this? That was like the original thought. So it's like, all right, let's figure out how to open up like retail locations, like bars, like, you know, let's set up something we could do every year, like a pumpkin patch where we imported 20,000 pumpkins onto a New York City rooftop. And, you know, I think that, you know, the advantage we have today is a lot of things live online. You know, when we're having 5-6 events a week, I can't go to all of them. So it's like, as long as we can keep building, I always say in this industry, there's only 2 directions you can go, and it's up or down. So if, like, there's no staying the same. So the only like thing you could ever do is consistently get bigger and just like pretty much own a market, right? So if you're not getting bigger, you're getting smaller. And if you're getting smaller, you won't be sustainable. You'll be gone in a year. So it's like using what we have with the Rose Gold brand and the Rose Gold events to then create like, you know, our bar crawl company that, you know, does SantaCon and St. Patty's every year. You know, we have 8,000 people going to that, and we're building that up every year, to having, you know, my bar, the High Note in Union Square, which I made an Ohio State bar, which is awesome. and just making sure, like, you know, you use the opportunities you have now to build these other things up. But it's also like, I've wasted a lot of time on things that are not going to be anything, right? So it's like, a lot of it's getting to a point of just like time management, and figuring out what opportunities are worth it and learning year over year. But it's like you have looking at last year as a whole, it's like, all right, you pick apart the things that went well, what didn't go well, and you try to double down on the things that went well.
And you probably get real with yourself about the shit that didn't go well, even though
for sure.
it might hurt a little bit to the core. Like, damn, I wanted that thing to work out, and it just didn't.
It's like what they say. You always remember your biggest losses, but not your biggest wins.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, being in New York City, pretty big entertainment place, hospitality place, like
For
a
sure.
lot of people in competition. How are you building your moat so that you can continue to go up, like you said?
So on the rose gold side of things, a lot of it goes back to like the relationship aspect of like treating people well. So it's like being the guy that everyone is willing to work with. So like when you have all this new competition, making them not competition, but actually like business partners. Like when you take over 15 venues for New Year's in New York City alone, no one could do that by themselves. So like by including, we took over Moxie Williamsburg, where we did they have 5 venues within that hotel. And we did 1,500 people, open bar for everyone. And I just, I worked with other promo groups and I was like, hey, just take a room, I don't even like need to make money off you guys. Whatever you guys sell, like, is yours. And it's just like that, it's really just about, obviously a lot of other people would think those people are your competition, but you end up working with them. Then a lot of, those people ended up investing in my bar. So like for my new bar, for example, we raised over $600,000, but we got it from 55 different people because what we wanted to do was like create that community aspect. So it's all, it's all small check sizes.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I put them all in a group together. So like I have nowhere to fucking hide. If shit goes,
That's true.
but like it's just about like having accountability, being like, a stand-up person, and like, you connect, you raise from this many different people, you connect them all. You got to do the right thing, and in that bar we have 6-7 other companies that throw events invested in that bar, and I bet you that it's gonna help that bar a lot.
I think it's the perfect answer for how you grow, and it's again why I love that we're all hitting it off, because it's exactly the same strategy that Parker and I have with Elevation Nation, which is we want to meet the coolest, most amazing young people, connect with them, add value to their lives, and then connect them to each other. And so as you're talking, Jesse, like, I know you're an Ohio State guy. Our elevator number 1, the first elevator in Elevation Nation, is a former Ohio State basketball player, a friend of both of ours. We're going to make an appearance happen for him at your bar where he hosts his Ohio State basketball podcast during the season. Like, that's already done. That's going to happen. And so, like,
let's go.
You keep doing these things of, I know this person, I can connect this person, I'm a good human being, I'm listening for opportunities.
Yeah.
Like, I think in my opinion, and this is why maybe I'm a little bit cocky or like just have faith that everything will work out. Like, I don't really know where Elevation Nation's going to go. I don't know where me and Parker are taking this thing, but I have faith that if I keep, we keep being good people, keep making great connections, opportunities are going to continue to present themselves. And that's something that obviously has worked for you. And it makes me feel a lot better that we're following that same strategy, because we're all elevating to good places.
Yeah. And you guys are doing it the right way, because you really just like, not many people, you sit down and get to learn other people, right? And they'll just like assume things about them, and they just like won't understand what they actually do, won't understand like what actually drives them, and won't understand their actual business. So like the fact that you guys are doing that, all those things, and doing that with like a large amount of people, 100% something's going to come out of it.
Which, by the way, we're looking forward to hosting an Elevation Nation meetup at one of your bars. So we're going to have to make that happen as well. So
there we go.
There you go. I mean, that'd be very fun. We've done them before, and we don't plan on stopping. No, I completely agree with what you guys are saying. And to your point, Sam, is of course we don't know what's going to happen. We can plan for the future, but we don't know what the future is going to bring, because no one does. And if we continue back to what we first talked about, Jesse, to lead with those core values that we truly believe in, then we can always come back to that. And if it works out in the past, what makes you think it won't work out in the future? And so I love that, we had that conversation and whatnot. Jesse, I also want to ask you another question about just how often you're meeting people, because I assume you're meeting people all the time, given the industry that you're in. Does that ever get like overwhelming to the point where you're just like, damn, like, how do I remember this name? Like, how do I make sure I'm providing some type of value to that individual, right? And I'm sure that can be challenging.
Yeah, so I'm really, really bad with like faces and names. It's like the most counterproductive thing to everything I do. And it's really bad. And I think I have like some type of disorder where like I can look at a picture of someone and then I see them in person and I cannot put it together. Like
that's great. I might be really the same way. I mean,
or maybe there's just a lot of fake stuff out there now, with Instagram versus real life.
Exactly.
But I think more so on my front, it's more so my phone, right? Like I do like most things on phone call, and I try to keep it that way because the face-to-face meetings can take an hour, whereas like your phone, you can be calling 30 different people about all different things, right? So it's really just like my phone is nonstop. But then that, has its pros and cons for sure, being that it's nonstop. So like, even if I am like away or I want to take a break or it's like, I want to chill in for a night, like everything is filtering through my own phone. I tried to get a second phone to handle that and didn't really work because now I just have two phones that are like that. But it's like these things just like, it's a lot of just phone calls all day, meeting new people and, getting connected to new people. And yeah, like it is like a lot to manage, like how to use resources, like the same thing you guys were just talking about. Like you guys are connected with all these people and it's like, all right, like how do we now like make something happen from this? And like, that's the toughest part sometimes. And like a lot of times you'll get it wrong, tough. But you got to try to learn and
just keep on shooting.
Learn from experience. Yeah.
I can only imagine what your phone looks like on a Friday early afternoon or evening.
I can't imagine.
Of people asking you, in quotes, "What's the move?" I can only imagine that is.
It's actually not even that. Like things are pretty set up by like Friday. It's usually like, every weekend night, every night basically until people are calling me till 1 a.m. even if it's like a Monday night, Tuesday night.
So wait, so you're working, essentially we're working every day.
Yeah, I mean there is no off.
There's no off.
There isn't, because also like the bars obviously operate on the weekends. A lot of things start and stop with me. So if I'm not doing things, like if I'm not, we couldn't open the bar last week because our DJ board broke and we couldn't play the music. So I had to go grab the, the board from our other bar and just like stupid shit like that. And it's just like, if I didn't do that, no one else was going to, and that
it's the part of entrepreneurship
exists
that you're like, is this really like, that's what I'm going to be using my time on? Like getting a new DJ. But you're right. It's like, you just you're a fixer. You got to fix shit. Like the end of the day.
No, I think Elon Musk said something about like, as any business owner, there's a large percentage of your time that are literal chores that no one can even conceive that you're doing. But you just have to do them because no one else is going to.
I'm still like thinking about the idea of working every day. I still am like trying to get at that. So clearly you enjoy what you do, right? I mean, you wouldn't do it as long as you have and put that much passion and work into what you build if you didn't enjoy it. Obviously, it's hard to enjoy every aspect of anything. But
yeah,
I mean, like, how are you able to manage then stuff outside work, right? Like, life in general. Because I'm sure you want downtime too.
No, 100%. Like, I'm going to like one of my best friend's bachelor parties tomorrow, and I haven't even processed anything. I haven't checked in for my flight. I haven't started packing. I mean, I haven't even thought about it. And my flight's at 8:30 a.m. So like, totally hear you on that. I just like.
Wait, where are you going? Are you leaving the country?
I'm going to Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Santo Domingo.
That's gonna be fun. I would recommend Colombia. That's where we went for my bachelor party. Just putting that out there.
So I think I was in Cartagena because Miles came and met up with me after your trip.
Yes.
I was on my brother-in-law's trip. And I think that's where he like thought of connecting us.
Yeah, great place. Incredible place.
Great things happen in Cartagena.
Great place. That's all. We're leaving it at that. Great place. We had a lot of fun.
Great place. Yes.
So Jesse, I wanna bring us to our next kind of section of the podcast here, which is our rapid fire segment.
Yeah.
So we got a couple quick hitting questions. There's no right or wrong answer. First thing that pops into your head. So mine is, what does your dream event to host look like? Is it on the water? Is it in the mountains? Is it music based? Is it experience based? Is it small? Is it big? What's the vibe?
That's really tough to answer. So
you can say there are pumpkins involved. I'm cool with pumpkins being the answer.
It's not pumpkins. No, one of them was actually, I mean, it wasn't the fact that, the High Note, the bar, my bar that has became like an Ohio State bar. And for it to be so jam-packed on every game day, we've lost to Michigan like the past 3 years. So it's like, I haven't had that moment. But like all the Michigan games, the Ohio State Michigan games, like when everyone's packed in there, it's crazy. It's like, this is like my bar. Like, this is wild that this is happening. I would say like that. I don't even know if that's considered like an event, but it's like that if we win.
How about like Ohio
awesome.
State, Michigan national championship where you guys win?
Yeah.
That sounds
that's
fairly
insane.
ideal.
Yeah, the place
All
would
right,
go
let's
crazy.
do that.
We almost got that.
It was
we almost got that.
We almost got that. No, the first year we literally we took over the bar in September, like 2 years ago, and on New Year's Eve, we lost to Georgia, if you guys remember, on that field goal at midnight. And it was just like 2 months after getting the bar, and Ohio State was just taking off, and I was if we won that game, I was in Miami. I was back to Ohio, like back to New York. We were sending the national championship at the bar. It would have been the craziest thing ever. But yeah,
Well, listen,
also. The rooftop
make it
parties
happen.
are also the best. Yeah, we are going to make it
rooftop
happen. We're looking good this year. So
and now you got a basketball plug too, so it sounds like we're gonna have some full basketball games for Ohio State as well. All right, I love that answer. That was pure college pride, which I respect.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay, my rapid fire, and then I got to follow up with a really quick story. So, best pizza place in New York City. What is it?
Joe's.
Okay,
I think
Joe's is good. Joe's is great. Big fan.
You didn't like that answer.
Sam didn't like it.
No, I feel like you didn't like that answer.
I'm still searching. I really am. I like
searching.
Joe's. I like Joe's. I had a place last night called Angelo's.
I guess Joe's is like a cookie cutter answer, but like it is really fucking good.
It is really good
With garlic powder on top, like that's literally the perfect combo. I don't want to talk to anybody afterwards. Just put me on the couch and put me to bed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I went to this place, Angelo's, last night. Portnoy gave it like a 9.1 or something. JJ,
how was it?
Wife, yeah, not 9.1, probably like 8.1, if not lower. It was good. Don't get me wrong. Maybe we didn't get the Portnoy like slice in a sense. I also, Jesse, real quick before we go to our last section, I have to say, in my Miles and Sam gave my best men speech because they were my best men at my wedding 2 weeks ago.
No way.
And Miles reminded me that we had a bet that I was going to leave my job, and we took a video of it, and he gave me a year, and then my job got better. And I said, Miles, I'm not leaving. And the bet was that if I didn't leave, he got to punch me in the face. And what's funny enough is it happened, and Miles punched me in the face at the High Note. And it was hilarious
When was
for
this?
everyone but me because I was shook. We had everyone in the
He get
bar
you good?
surrounded, like literally with their phones out, and I'm just standing there like, all right, Miles, come on, do it, just do it. Yeah, obviously we had a few drinks, we had a really good time, and then boom, I took it like a champ, man of my word, at the high note. And
Hell
it's
yeah.
memories like that that get into the best man speech in front of 300 people at my wedding. So high note
100%.
somehow found a way to the wedding. 2
Wow,
weeks
let's
ago.
go.
There you go.
That's free marketing. Thank you. Miles,
There
get
you
you
go.
good?
Yeah. Well, it was more like a slap bet.
Yeah.
Like he basically, I mean, Miles, he was
Why-
like, no,
yeah.
I'm taking advantage of this. And he pretty much punched me in the face. I feel like I
Hell
had a
yeah.
concussion from it, but fun story at the bar.
We were connected before we even knew we were connected. It's
There we
beautiful.
go.
So, Jesse, at Elevation Nation, we preach, Parker already mentioned it, this concept called mental fortitude. You obviously exude it. We think every elevator has it. We break it down into 3 parts: knowing yourself, knowing your vision, and knowing what fuels you. And we've talked about all 3 of those things in different ways through different stories throughout this podcast. And what that means to us is when you figure out those 3 pieces and unlock mental fortitude, you're able to develop what we call a mental motto, which is a phrase that embodies who you are and how you live your life. So I want to end it with Jesse Rosen. What is your mental motto?
My mental motto is definitely everything is figure outable. And that applies to all aspects of life, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's like an oh fuck moment, an oh shit moment. Like, how's this happening? It's all right. Everything's figure outable. Just got to shrug it off. Everything's figure outable. This sucks. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get through it. Everything is figure outable. And as long as you just like keep saying that to yourself, you're going to figure it out. And it's that simple. It really is.
It's a mindset. I
Yeah.
love it. It's an incredible mental motto because I agree with you. We'll figure it out. We'll learn from it in some way.
I
figure
don't
it
know
out.
the answer right now, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Because what other option is there?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just sit
Right.
there and not figure it out.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's what elevators do, right? You got to figure it out. You're just going to say, no, we're not going to let this get to us and not move forward with whatever it might be. We're not going to fail. No, we're going to figure it out. And sometimes it works better than others. But love that mental motto, Jesse. And I have to say, it was an incredible conversation on the podcast, but more so, I just looking back on the conversation, but also just hearing you talk about what you've built and your mindset in how you go about building what you've built. And then on top of that, your passion for the things that you are spending your time with in your life is very commendable. And I'm very grateful that Sam and I got time to share your story with Elevation Nation. But more so, I'm even more grateful that you're joining the nation because I think you're just an incredible person. You'll see Sam and I waving on the sidelines, pumping you up, elevating you in some way. And we can't wait to watch you to continue to elevate.
And I love what you guys are doing. Like, something big is going to come out of this. It's just hard to tell what it is yet. But when you just keep doing this, over time, it's just going to start to compound on itself. So I think you're going to find a lot of interesting opportunities that are going to be amazing for you guys and life-changing. So appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm excited to continue watching your journey as well.
We appreciate you. Elevation Nation, until next week, peace.